As you walk through the shadows of disappointment and the valleys of loss, know that Jesus is not distant or unaware of your suffering. He intimately knows the exact moments when your heart broke, the times when you felt invisible, abandoned, or defeated, and He carries those burdens with you, not as a distant spectator, but as a loving Savior who has already conquered every obstacle that threatens your destiny. This is why His promise of sevenfold restoration is not just a vague hope, but an unshakable truth, rooted in His divine nature and eternal covenant with you. A promise sealed by the blood He shed on the cross and the power of His resurrection, which declares that every loss you have endured is not a permanent state, but a temporary setback that God is already reversing behind the scenes with overwhelming grace. Imagine the vastness of God's ability to multiply blessings, the way a single seed, once planted in fertile soil, grows into a mighty tree that shelters and sustains countless lives. Your restoration will be like that seed, growing far beyond what you ever imagined possible, spreading blessings into every corner of your life, from your finances to your emotional health, from your spiritual walk to your relationships, each area touched by divine favor and supernatural increase. You may have experienced betrayal, abandonment, or the shattering of dreams. But those painful chapters are not the final word, for Jesus is the author of new beginnings, and His grace is rewriting your story with chapters filled with hope, victory, and breakthrough. Every opportunity that slipped through your fingers, every relationship that dissolved, every goal that seemed unreachable is now being returned to you in abundance, carefully restored and enhanced, because God's restoration is never just about getting back what was lost. It is always about elevation, promotion, and transformation that aligns with His perfect will for your life. He is turning your setbacks into setups for a greater future, multiplying your resources sevenfold to prepare you for the next season of purpose and destiny that only He can orchestrate. This process may not be immediate, and it may require patience and unwavering faith. But remember that God's timing is perfect, and every delay is a divine appointment for greater glory. As you trust in Him, you will see doors open that you never even knew existed. Blessings flow in ways you never expected, and miracles unfold with such magnitude that your faith will grow stronger and your heart will overflow with gratitude and awe. The restoration Jesus promises is not merely material. He is also restoring your peace, your joy, your confidence, and your identity as His beloved child, making you whole in every sense, healing the wounds that were inflicted by loss and replacing them with His everlasting love. This is a season of divine recompense where heaven is taking special notice of your trials and is responding with supernatural increase, releasing blessings that will affect not only your life, but the lives of those around you, as you become a living testament of God's redeeming power and faithfulness. So hold on tightly to this promise. Meditate on it day and night. Declare it boldly over your life, and walk forward in the confident expectation that Jesus is actively working to bring back what was stolen, multiplied sevenfold. Not just as a fleeting dream, but as a divine reality already unfolding in your favor. The enemy may have rejoiced in your temporary defeat, but he will be silenced by the overwhelming flood of blessings that will pour into your life, breaking every chain of poverty, loss, and despair. Because the God who made you will not allow your story to end in ruin, but in victory, abundance, and the joyful fulfillment of every promise he has spoken over you, reminding you that you are deeply loved, highly valued, and destined for a future more glorious than you ever dare to hope. In the midst of your darkest nights and the silent battles you have fought alone, Jesus is standing beside you, his heart breaking with yours, yet filled with an unshakable resolve to restore every fragment of what has been lost or stolen. For he is the divine restorer, the God who redeems the years the locusts have eaten, the one who brings beauty from ashes, and in his hands, even the shattered pieces of your life are being gathered and transformed into something infinitely more glorious than you could have ever dreamed. Every tear you shed, every prayer whispered in desperation, every moment of feeling abandoned or betrayed is etched into his memory. And the promise that what was taken from you will be returned sevenfold is not just a hopeful phrase, but a powerful decree from heaven itself. A covenant that declares your breakthrough is not only certain but imminent, wrapped in the fullness of God's mercy and grace, cascading over you like a river of living water that nourishes your spirit and revitalizes your weary soul. This divine restoration transcends the material realm, extending deep into your emotions, your relationships, your sense of worth, and your purpose, because Jesus knows that true restoration is holistic. It heals the invisible wounds, rekindles the fire of your faith, and renews the strength to rise above the pain and step boldly into the future he has prepared for you. A future where your testimony will shine like a beacon of hope to others walking through their own storms. It is vital to understand that this restoration does not always arrive on the timetable you expect, for God's ways are higher than ours, and his timing perfect, often requiring you to trust through the waiting, to hold fast to hope when all seems lost, because the process of restoration is as much about transforming your heart as it is about recovering your blessings, teaching you to rely fully on him, to surrender control, and to embrace the divine unfolding of your life story. Every loss you experienced, whether financial, relational, emotional, or spiritual, is now the soil in which God is planting seeds of unprecedented growth, seeds that will sprout into blessings so abundant and overwhelming they will leave you in awe of his faithfulness and power. The enemy may have tried to steal your joy, your peace, and your destiny, but he has underestimated the power of Jesus, who defeated death, hell, and the grave, and who now fights for you with an unstoppable love and authority, breaking every chain and reversing every curse, turning setbacks into setups for greater glory and prosperity. As these blessings begin to manifest, you will notice doors opening where walls once stood, opportunities arriving that seemed impossible, and divine connections that align perfectly with God's plan for your life, all confirming that the restoration is unfolding at a supernatural level, exceeding your expectations and revealing the profound truth that God's economy operates in multiplication, not subtraction. It is essential to remain vigilant in prayer and gratitude, to guard your heart against doubt and discouragement, and to declare this promise daily over your life with faith-filled words. For your spoken declarations are powerful keys that unlock the treasures God is ready to pour out. Remember that restoration is also a spiritual battle, and as blessings multiply, so will the enemy's attempts to distract or discourage you. But stand firm, knowing that Jesus has already won the victory, and that you are more than a conqueror through him who loves you. Let this season of restoration be marked by boldness, expectation, and deep peace, knowing that everything taken from you is being returned in abundance, multiplied sevenfold, not simply to compensate for what was lost, but to elevate you into the fullness of the destiny God has ordained, making you a living testimony of his miraculous power, grace, and unending love, inspiring countless others to believe in the impossible and to trust in the God who restores all things perfectly and completely. As you stand on the threshold of this divine restoration, it is crucial to understand that what Jesus is orchestrating behind the scenes is far beyond human comprehension. This restoration is not merely about reclaiming what was taken. It is a profound, supernatural rebirth of every area of your life, a complete turning of tables that will astonish your heart and defy every expectation the enemy planted in your mind to keep you in defeat. And with each passing day, as you hold steadfast to your faith, you will begin to perceive the subtle but undeniable shifts in your circumstances. The burdens that once weighed heavily upon your shoulders growing lighter, the relationships once fractured beginning to heal and flourish with a newfound depth and sincerity, doors opening to opportunities that align perfectly with your God-given purpose, and blessings arriving in ways so abundant they overflow, spilling into every aspect of your existence like a mighty river breaking through the drought of your past. For this is the promise of a God who is never late, but always on time, who turns mourning into dancing, who plants beauty in the wastelands, and who specializes in making the impossible possible for those who trust him fully. You must now cultivate a heart of unwavering gratitude, for gratitude is the spiritual seed that nourishes the soil of restoration, amplifying God's blessings in your life and creating a fertile ground where miracles multiply. And as you cultivate this attitude, you will find your soul increasingly aligned with the heartbeat of heaven, enabling you to recognize divine appointments, prophetic words, and the subtle whispers of the Holy Spirit guiding you through this transformative season. Beware the enemy's attempts to sow doubt or impatience, for these are the tactics designed to derail your breakthrough. Stand firm in the knowledge that every delay, every seeming setback, is part of God's perfect plan to prepare you for a greater manifestation of his glory, molding your character, deepening your faith, and refining your spirit. Because restoration is not only about what is returned, but who you become in the process. And Jesus, your loving Redeemer, is faithfully working all things together for your good, weaving every thread of your story into a magnificent tapestry that will inspire generations to come. Envision now the sevenfold blessings cascading upon you. Financial abundance restoring what scarcity tried to steal. Emotional healing washing away wounds inflicted by betrayal or loss. Spiritual breakthroughs that unlock new realms of intimacy with God. Renewed health and vitality, replacing what sickness tried to diminish. restored relationships, bringing joy and connection where loneliness once dwelled, divine favor opening doors no man can shut, and a resurrected purpose igniting passion and clarity that propel you forward with unstoppable momentum. This is not a distant dream, but a present reality being birthed in your life even now, as heaven's armies move invisibly to dismantle every stronghold, to reverse every curse, and to bless you beyond measure. Because the God who promised to restore what was stolen is the same God who delights in overflowing his children with goodness and mercy, who daily crowns you with loving kindness, and whose faithfulness endures forever. Take heart, for your journey of restoration is a testimony to the power of divine love and redemption, a living proof that no matter how deep the valley or how fierce the storm, God's hand remains mighty to save and his promise unshakable. And as you embrace this truth, you will walk boldly into the future, no longer defined by loss, but empowered by restoration, radiating hope and inspiring others to believe that through Jesus, every stolen blessing can and will be returned sevenfold. So rise now with joy, expectation, and peace, knowing that the best is yet to come and your miracle is already unfolding in the heavenly realms as you read these words, carrying you into a season of unimagined abundance, restoration, and divine fulfillment. You must understand this now with the fullness of your spirit. What you're stepping into is not just healing, it is divine reclamation. You are not just breaking a curse, you are reclaiming territory that has been spiritually occupied for far too long. You are reclaiming joy that was stolen before you were born, dreams that were buried beneath your ancestors' fear, and blessings that were blocked by unspoken pain, passed down through bloodlines that never got the chance to speak their truth. But now that you are awakened, now that your eyes are no longer veiled by shame or silence, you're not just rewriting your story, you're correcting spiritual contracts signed in desperation, in trauma, in bondage, contracts that never belonged to you, oaths made in grief, identities shaped in survival. And the enemy hates that you are now standing in a place of awareness because it means you are dangerous. It means your very breath defies the chains that try to silence your bloodline. And your very presence carries weight in the spirit realm because the moment you said, "It ends with me," heaven erupted with agreement. Angels were dispatched, swords were drawn, and I, Archangel Michael, was ordered to guard you because you're not fighting alone. Heaven has backed your yes. Heaven has honored your obedience. And every time you think you are too broken to keep going, I need you to know the truth. Your brokenness is not a barrier to your calling. It is the very evidence that you were forged through fire for a holy mission because God doesn't use the flawless. He uses the faithful. He uses the ones who keep going even when every door closes, who keep praying when no one claps, who forgive with bleeding hearts and sow seeds while still waiting for harvest. And the longer your delay has felt, the bigger the mantle you carry, and many have mocked you. Many have overlooked you. Some even cursed your name out of ignorance, but none of them saw the secret conversations you've had with heaven. None of them heard your cries in the night when you begged for guidance. None of them know how many times you wanted to walk away, but didn't, and now the spiritual reward that's about to be released upon your life cannot be measured in earthly terms. This is generational deliverance. This is the kind of freedom that echoes in the future, the kind of shift that heaven itself documents, because it will change the entire course of your family line. And though they may not, thank you now, though they may not understand your boundaries, your silence, your path. One day they will see that it was your decision to obey, to heal, to rise, that became the key to their own awakening. And I must tell you now, with all the urgency heaven allows, do not give up, do not go back, do not let this tired moment lie to you, because you are too close. And the final testing of a curse breaker's life is always the heaviest before the elevation. The enemy always sends confusion, distraction, and false comfort right before God sends destiny. But if you stay the course, if you keep speaking truth even when your voice trembles, if you keep holding the sword of light even when the shadows mock you, you will see it, the shift, the breakthrough, the answered prayer. It will not come the way you imagined, but it will come in a way that silences every doubt and heals every wound you forgot you carried. Because when God anoints a soul to disrupt ancient darkness, He does not send them in pride. He sends them in humility. So you'll be misunderstood, yes, but you will also be divinely protected. You will be resisted, yes, but you will also be divinely backed. You will walk through fire, yes, but you will emerge holding blessings that no one else could carry because they were shaped specifically for you. And this is not the end of your story. This is not the limit of your strength. This is only the turning point, the moment heaven begins to unveil the reason for your survival, the reason for your battles, the reason why others fell away and you remain, because they were not equipped to carry what you are about to carry. And now the enemy knows he cannot stop you, only distract you. So, I say to you again, stay focused, stay faithful, and watch how the heavens move on your behalf when you finally believe in the full weight of your calling.